the road that took you to go to college, and it started with your breaking your leg. You remember that? How you broke your leg when the mule tripped and fell? Well, tell us that story.
They want me to tell them that?
Yeah, just tell the story about the mule.
Well, I was a farmer, and I was riding the mule one day, and the mule stumbled, and instead of me jumping off, I tried to stay on, and I ended up walking my leg right up here like that. I slid down on the mule's neck, and instead of trying to jump off, I went to put my hand down to keep her up, and she got up. The mule tried to get up, and she stumbled. She stumbled a good distance. I slid down on her neck, and when she threw her head up, by that time my thigh had gone over on her neck, and I could hear the bone crack.
And the reason that I wanted, let me say something, Dad, because it's a long story, and I'm gonna cut it down to the Reader's Digest version. So he broke his leg, and he was one of 10 children. Okay, he was the second youngest, and they typically, when the kids get out of grammar school, they don't go to high school because there's no transportation to go to high school. They just work on the farm. Because he broke his leg and couldn't work on the farm anymore, his parents sent him to live with his sister in Sumter. Was it in Sumter? Your sister lived?
No,
When you left home to live with your sister, was she in Sumter?
No, what happened was I fell off the mule.
I know we're past that.
No, but you don't know exactly how it happened.
Okay.
I slid down on the mule's neck, and instead of trying to jump off, I went to put my hand down on her neck. And by that time, she had slid down on my neck. When she threw her hand up, she hit me right up on the head. I could hear the bone crack.
Mm-hmm.
I fell off that, boy. I fell off over in the field. The mule went down a piece, turned around. I couldn't get up. I fell over in the field. And this girl that lived with her grandmother or something, she saw it. She was a good little distance from us over in the field. And she tried to call her grandmother who was living with her. And I couldn't get up. So she run in the house and told her grandmother, and then she run across the field where I was. When the mule tried to get up, I slid off, hit her right on the head. She threw her head up. I could hear the bone crack. I fell then, boy. I fell over in the field. The mule went down a piece, turned around. Now I'm laying over in the field. The mule went off a piece and turned around, come back, I guess about as close to me from here to the wall there, and stopped. And the girl ran back in the house and told her grandmother who she was living with. I think it was her grandmother. Anyway, told her. The girl run back in the house and told her parents, and they run across the field. But I couldn't get up. The mule went down a little piece, turned around, come back. I'm laying over in the field. Mule come back, I guess about from here to the wall there, where I was laying over in the field, and she stopped. And she stayed right there until the mule come back. And some people was coming right by my house in a wagon and to go into town. And they picked me up, put me in the wagon, took me in the little town there. And they told, I think they told my brother, older brother, who was at the house. Anyway, somebody went to the house and told my father. I'll never forget, my mother had gone to her rack, where she was having something done with her leg, my mother's leg. And by that time, I couldn't get up. And I looked back, that leg was, I don't know how it was twisted, where it was twisted at, because it hit it up here. And they picked me up in a wagon and took me into town, the wagon took. And my mother had gone to her lodge meeting. And she found out about it, and she was crying back. And they got me in a wagon that was coming right by our house. Took me to the house, and every time they could pick me up or something, and would twist that leg, I said, boy, that thing would hurt. And in the country, you know, this.
Can I say something?
What?
I want to add, because to me the thing that's important about that whole story is the fact that because you broke your leg, you were not able to work on the farm anymore, and therefore your parents sent you to the city to live with your sister, and you were able to go to high school because you went to live with your sister.
No, not like that. It happened during the season when I had time for that leg to get back together while they were in the field. And the mule, I stayed out there in the field for a little while. And they ran out there and got me and took me home. And that's how it started.
Right.
It happened in the season part where I didn't have to work because I was a little boy then. And that more or less what saved me. I was able to stay out there in that road, in that field, till they got me. I'll never forget, my mother had gone to her labor work. She was in the mason, and she came. A lady came by the house in my wagon and brought me home, laying in this wagon. I'll never forget, man. Every time it would hit a bump or something, you know, that thing would hurt, man. And that's how she got me back to the house. And they called the doctor, fall doctor. He came to the house and caught my leg. Boy, and every time he twisted or something, that thing would hurt, you know. But old country doctor, he come up to the house, you know, and he said, well, she got a broken leg. The thing was snapped right up in here. And sent the old doctor there, you know, he come to the house. He looked like he must have had a, I don't know how much stem thing he had in the leg, in the wagon. You know, he was driving a wagon.
Pieces of stick, you mean?
Huh?
Pieces of stick?
Oh, he had a splint.
A splint?
Had some
Sticks, right?
no cigar. They had a good bit of I can't call it stuff that he had in the wagon, in the trunk of the wagon. And the doctor came to the house and he moved that thing, boy, and I had a fit. He said, this boy's leg is broke. I didn't want to believe that thing, but hell, it was hurting so bad.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
Now, if your leg had not been broken, do you think you would have got a chance to go to high school? If your leg had not been broken?
You know, I kind of think maybe I would have gone anyhow.
Okay.
Because I was the little boy they had in the house, you know. And I think they was kind of a think that I would be able to do something in life, you know. And I'll never forget, my mother was crying, boy. She had gone to a lodge meeting. She was, her husband was a mason. I didn't know anything about it then, you know. But she found out about it, man, and she was coming home hollering and crying, you know. And guy came by our house in the wagon and brought her home and told the doctor about it, had the doctor to come. He got in his car, he had an old car, brought her home. Examined her, he said, oh, this boy's leg is broke.
Now
my mama had gone to a lodge meeting.
Now the next question that I want you to answer is, how did you end up from the farm to living with your sister?
To do what?
How did you end up going from the farm after you'd broken your leg to living with your sister in the city?
No, during that time, I was working enough till I could go to the farm ball place at the end of that year, that period. And I had to go on the farm.
I know, but
I didn't do as much as I could have done because I think they kind of patted me a little bit, you know. But I'd gotten a leg broke.
So when did you go live with your sister?
Why?
When did you go live with your sister?
It was during the off season
Okay.
when I got that role.
And she lived in Sumter, your sister?
Yeah, well, she went to
No.
school, and while she was in school, the leg went back together.
Okay.
And so I didn't do much work that summer.
But eventually, you left